Hey everybody, KMO here. I'm in the cemetery. Hey, let me show you something. This is something that I've referenced often in these videos, but you rarely see it. It's my phone. I usually shoot my videos on this phone, and I'm not right now because, well, I have something better. Here, let's jump over to the phone's point of view. That is my Canon EOS M50 with a Rode mic on top and this Joby hardcore adjustable tripod. Check this out, it's got a level in it. And look where I am. Now you might think that, well, you don't know what time it is. I don't really know what time it is either. It is 8:26 a.m. on a Saturday morning. You might think the cemetery would be empty, and you'd be wrong. Just as I sat up and I started to shoot, 3 people, well, I guess 6 people, 3 adults and 3 babies came strolling by, and I just happened to know them. The youngest of the adults is a young woman named Mackenzie who used to work at, maybe she still does, works at the gym where I used to work and work out. The gym, which is open again. I could be there right now. I haven't renewed my membership yet. Little shout out to Jaya Yoga Center in Brooklyn. That's where I did work study when I was living in Brooklyn. You know, I miss Brooklyn, but I have to say, I'm glad I'm not there right now. So what to talk about? Other than, hey, I started testosterone therapy treatment yesterday, or testosterone replacement therapy. And I did a video about it, which I put on my new channel, which is called KMO on TRT. I'm going to document my, my journey over on this other channel. There'll be a link in the description for this video. Why start a new channel? Well, I know a lot of people are interested in testosterone replacement therapy, and they're probably not as interested in all the other stuff that I talk about in these vlogs. So, you know, I'm just going to wall that stuff off, not to protect it from y'all, but, you know, to protect the people who are only interested in TRT from all of the other, you know, misguiding of the youth that I do here. Not that many youths watch this YouTube channel. So now that I have the decent camera, I really need to start writing some scripts and putting together some more heroic videos. When I first started doing these videos, I mean, that was my intention. Fully scripted, maybe me on camera, possibly not. Animated characters, or at least illustrated characters, you know, off on the side commenting. They're still on the way. They're coming. In fact, let me tell you about these 2 characters. They are the lion and the chick. And the chick is her upgraded name because when she first appeared in the comic strip that I was doing for the university newspaper at the University of Missouri, Columbia in the mid-90s, she was called the Naked Chick because, well, she was naked. She wears clothes these days. I've tried to upgrade her name again because, well, you know, the chick, even to me, troglodyte and, you know, Neanderthal that I am, that sounds sexist, but that's the name she's had since the 90s. And not the late 90s, you know, the mid 90s. Like, I don't remember exactly when I started the strip, but this character grew out of a 24-hour comics project that I did with a friend of mine, which was, it was called Our Little Secret. It is utterly pornographic. If any copies of it still exist, I would be embarrassed for them to see the light of day, or, you know, even worse, for the internet to see them. Cemetery is a popular place to walk on a Saturday morning. I don't think he's seen me yet. Yeah, maybe he never will. So the mic that I have on this camera, it's a directional mic, I guess a little shotgun mic, And I don't know if it's picking up all the great bird song that I'm hearing. Also hearing some chirping crickets and a lawnmower. It wouldn't be a Saturday morning without a lawnmower, would it? You know, unless it's October through April. You know, speaking of Brooklyn and cemeteries, there was a period when I was thinking a lot about doing YouTube videos, but I hadn't done any yet. And I remember I got a little GoPro knockoff camera, and I took it and my audio recorder, I think it was my Zoom audio recorder, across the street from where I was living in Brooklyn to Greenwood Cemetery, which is this huge, huge cemetery in Brooklyn, where lots of historical figures are buried and lots of lots of very wealthy people from earlier centuries are buried there, and some of them have huge mausoleums, and some of these look like castles, and lots of them have Egyptian themes. Like you see a lot of Egyptian style obelisks and sphinxes and that's what I'm looking for. And mausoleums just decked out in, as a Egyptian theme. And I think it was to do with masonry and the sort of occult practices that were popular among wealthy business people back then. Maybe they still are. If you listen to Alex Jones, the super rich people are all smoking DMT and taking their marching orders from entities in another dimension to do evil here on Earth. Charles Eisenstein wrote a piece on conspiracy theories where he was talking about we can learn from conspiracy theories. They might not literally be true, but they have a metaphorical truth which tells us something about the psychology of the people who gravitate to them, and it tells us something about the society in which we live, in which trust in mainstream institutions, including science, has really been eroded. I would say pissed away by irresponsible invocation of that credibility for aims and actions which are not defensible. And so, for example, I don't think Charles Eisenstein brought up this particular example, but it's the only one that comes to mind right now. There is the conspiracy theory that holds that the world is run by shape-shifting reptilians from another dimension. They can look like anybody they want to, and all the rich, famous people that and powerful people are really reptiles in disguise, transformed into a human shape. Well, what is this? I mean, what could that possibly tell us that's useful about reality? Well, if there's a metaphorical layer of truth to that, you could say that we all have a reptile brain. Our brain is modular. It was built, or it evolved over time in modules. So, at the base, we have a reptile brain, and the reptile brain is concerned with, the matters of the id. The 3 F's, fighting, fleeing, and fornicating, or territoriality. Basically, it is the part of the brain which says, mine, I will defend what's mine, I want that, I'm going to take that. And, to say that mentality, that part of ourselves is what is ascendant and is what rules right now. As Terence McKenna liked to say, we are led by the worst among us. A literal belief in shape-shifting reptilian overlords from another dimension running the show here on Earth, I would be very surprised to learn that was literally true. But at that figurative level, yeah, it kind of holds. And so, the Republican Party has been pretty friendly with conspiracy theory in general for a very long time, like as long as I can remember. And I'm much more irritated with the Democrats these days than I am with the Republicans, because the Republicans haven't gotten much worse. They've been on the same program for a long time, whereas the Democrats really seemed to embrace conspiracy theory when Trump came into office. And no conspiracy theory was too outlandish. And, what we've seen just in recent weeks where, Team Blue was trying to shame anybody who broke quarantine and went outside, and then all of a sudden, it was great. Everybody should go outside and protest, police violence against black people. To switch just so readily between those positions, and to hold, when hearing an argument and evaluating the argument, this has always been true, at least as far as I can remember, for Team Red, but it's new for Team Blue. Rather than examining the argument, the Team Blue strategy these days is to ask who made the argument and then decide whether it's valid and whether it's sound and persuasive based on who said it rather than the content of it. Which is to say, Team Blue seems to have completely abandoned all pretense of intellectual honesty. And I know some people have noticed, but I've never heard anybody just in daily conversation, you know, off the internet, say that. Except me, you know, talking to you on the internet. Even though I'm in a cemetery right now. So the abandonment of intellectual honesty, the embrace of conspiracy theory, which is now, it is pervasive. It is the status quo. It is the norm for both, you know, mainstream Team Red and mainstream Team Blue. And then, you know, there are the fringes, the far fringes of Team Red and Team Blue. And some people like to say that, you know, the political spectrum is really a circle. And if you go far enough in either direction, you're going to meet the fringe people from the other team at the back of the circle. So, you know, extreme right-wing libertarians are pretty hard to distinguish from full-on anarchists. And, you know, you can get to full-on anarchy by pushing right or left on the political spectrum. I know the political spectrum is dumb. It leaves out so much. I get it, and I agree. Trying to keep the sun off me now. What a backdrop, though. I was going to say thank nature, but also thank the landscaper, thank all the people who died, thank all the people who wanted to remember all the people who died. There's a lot of money's worth of marble in this, what would otherwise be, I guess, forest. Because, All right, well, I'm going to head on back to my apartment now because my new computer, second try, arrived last night. It's not at my apartment yet. It's at the home of the people who have been getting my packages. But I expect them to bring it over fairly early in the day, and I definitely want to be there when they try. So I'm going to head out, but I'll talk to you again soon. Maybe not here, but somewhere. Find me on Patreon. More material there. Talk to you later.